Hello, we are on another AutoCAD episode. So for this session, I will be introducing you to the Extrude Command. So we are now dipping our toes to 3D modeling, but this is just really basic. We're just going to get ourselves familiar with the Extrude Command. So let's get started. Okay, so we're on another episode of AutoCAD. Last session, we've been discussing about the toolbars. I hope you've been studying about or getting yourselves familiar with the commands inside these toolbars. So it'll be a lot easier for you when we go to the more advanced stage of designing a 3D object. So for this session, we'll be focusing more on Extrude Command. So I'm just going to let you see what the Extrude Command does. So according to this, Extrude creates a 3D solid or surface by extruding a 2D design or 3D curve. So meaning to say, from a 2D flat, just as long as it's solid, it doesn't have any gaps or space, you can convert that into a 3D model or 3D object. So let's try and just do that. Let's try again drawing a square. So this time I'm going to use rectangle instead of Pline, line, or polygon like the last time. I'm using a rectangle because it's a lot easier to use this command than any of these three. So I selected rectangle, and then I choose D or dimensions. I'm going to set it again as 500 millimeters. Again 500, and there you have your square. And then after drawing the square, all you need to do is select on this. But before doing that, let's try and see a perspective view. You can see it's flat. Let's go back to top view, perspective. Since it's 2D, it's flat square. So top view again. Select the object and then click on extrude or type extrude on the command line. And then after that, it will be asking for the height. As you can see, extrude is like pulling the 2D shape or 2D design on the drawing board, giving it a height. So since we're trying to draw a box, all of the sides should be equally measured. So I'm typing in 500 as well. And then if you try a perspective view, you'll now have a box. So if you try hidden view, you see all of the hidden lines disappeared. If you try another view like X-ray, gives you the X-ray or you can see the insides of the box. If you try a realistic view, gives you a realistic view of the box or the cube. So that's how basically extrude function works, or extrude command works. So let's try to make a more complicated shape. Let's try to make a star, for example. So let's set my polar tracking first. Set it into 5. Okay, 400. To 450. This is 450. Then that. So if you try the perspective view, we have a flat star object, but since if you try to select the object, it doesn't select everything, all the elements in here, so it doesn't. This means that this is not a solid 2D object. What we need to do since we already have the object here, we can trace that we can trace all the edges using the Pline. Okay, so let's try and do that. But before anything else, let me set up my object snap. It should determine the intersection of the line. That. So if I try to select intersection here, so if I try to select here, it will appear. Okay, I wouldn't have to find this intersection manually because it will be shown if you have enabled that on your object snap. Okay, so let's try and trace all of the edges. Okay, using the Pline or Polyline command. Okay, and once you have traced all of the edges, you can delete the elements that you have drawn before. Now we have a solid object. You select that, all of the elements are selected. And as you can see, it's it's a 2D, it's a flat shape. What we need to do is we just need to click on the extrude or type in the extrude on the command, and then it will try to ask for the height of the shape that we've just drawn. Let's try 500. And there you have it. You have the solid star. Try to hide the lines. It will get the hidden lines will disappear. Try a realistic view. That's how it will look like in a realistic view. So this is just basically what extrude function or command does to your object. It just pulls the 2D object and gives it a height in order for you to make it into a 3D solid model. So that's it for this session. I've introduced you to extrude. As you can see, extrude function is really very simple. It just pulls out a 2D image from the drawing space and gives it a height. So for our next session, we'll be focusing more on loft. So please stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and bye.